What's up, you guys? It's your girl Ariel Sunflower coming to you with my melanated bookworm channel. And our first book that we are going to dive straight into is The Misadventures of the Awkward Black Girl by Issa Rae. I've heard of this book for forever. I love Issa Rae. I love Insecure. That's one of my favorite shows. Hashtag Team Issa and Daniel, not Lawrence. Hello. But I really think that I would enjoy this book because I too myself can be and am are awkward, can be. Okay, here we go. Introduction. My name is Joissa Rae Diop, or Diop. I'm going to say Diop. And I've always wanted a nickname. For the first 12 years of my life, none of my friends were lazy enough to shorten the pronunciation of my name, or affectionately bold enough to replace my name with an entirely new word like Coco or Jolly Rancher. Because every cool person I knew had a nickname, I decided to not wait on anyone to do me the honor. So in the 4th grade, when a substitute teacher came to take the place of Miss Osei, I took the opportunity to publicly anoint myself with a new, lovable identity. I waited as the teacher called roll, for once excited about the impending mispronunciation. If it wasn't my first name, it was always my last name. She couldn't get to the D's fast enough. This time, I'd not only correct her, but I'd intervene with a name that was both easy to pronounce and fun and adventurous, just like me. Issa die off? She asked, pretending to look through the sea of white kids. Pretending to look through the sea of white kids to find my ethnic ass. Look, at least the teacher tried to make it seem like she didn't know who it was supposed to be. Here, it's Joissa Joe, but my friends call me Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe. I chuckled as I looked around the class, waiting for the high fives and the acknowledgement from my classmates. That never came. All that accompanied my announcement was my own laugh, and 2 seconds of silence as the teacher looked at me and nodded, processing the ridiculousness of my suggestion. Right, Joissa. The sub continued. Sarah Dotson? Here, Sarah said. Dismissed. Hot with regret and my blatant attempt to rebrand myself, I sat defeated as the teacher continued down the sheet of names. I had conceived my new nickname the previous Friday after a delicious school lunch. One part self-deprecative, bear with me, one part self-depreciative humor, I am not awesome with all the words, bear with me, and one part clever wordplay. The name seemed perfect. Now that nobody had so much as looked in my direction after my made-up proclamation, I just felt silly. Who wants to be sloppy anyway? That teacher probably saved herself from a lawsuit. Can you imagine calling the sole black girl in the class sloppy? Good for her indifference. I'm thankful for it. What an absolutely stupid and embarrassing nickname from a painfully childish mind. If I could go back in time and slap all of the idiocy out of my mouth, I would be a busy time traveler. Where my first name has been an individual struggle, my last name has appropriately been a family battle. Having spent some of my youth in Senegal or around Senegalese people in America, I never could have imagined that my monosyllabic family name would have so many alternate incorrect variations. There's Diop, Diop, Dip, Jip, Jop, and my personal favorite, Depot. In high school, I found no burden in correcting people. It wasn't their fault that they didn't know, and there was no harm done. My annoyance would emerge when people would take it upon themselves to correct me in the pronunciation of my own name. It would go something like this. Diop? Oh, it's pronounced Jope, as in rhymes with hope. I would say it with a smile. But it's spelled D-I-O-P. Diop. They would say with confused indignation. Yeah, I know. It's still Jope. Oh, okay. They'd hesitantly resign. This happened way more frequently than it should have, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why. Until one person I went back and forth with for far too long maintained that her doctor's last name was the same as mine, and he pronounced it Dia. I just rolled my eyes. Just forget it. I would have said, except her doctor was none other than my father. What the heck, Dad? Family pride much? My dad is a mini celebrity in South Central, on account that his Inglewood Clinic has his name in big white letters on the rectangular brick building that lines Manchester Boulevard, one of the major streets in the area. My high school bus actually passed the building on his route. I went to high school in South Central, on the border of Compton and Watts, where many of my classmates claimed my father as their childhood pediatrician. Oh, are you related to Dr. Diop on Manchester? Dr. Joe? Yeah. No. Dr. Diop. Dr. Diop. It's Joe. And yeah. Okay. If you say so. I confronted my dad about this one day after school. Dad, why are you telling people our last name is Diop? Because they'll mess it up anyway, he said with a shrug. But you have to correct them. I got tired of correcting them, he calmly retorted. I shook my head. How could I properly defend my name if the man with the accent himself wouldn't co-sign it? I did eventually get that nickname I so yearned for, though it came much later in my 20s. I was wall-to-wall chatting on Facebook with Keisha, one of my good friends from college. I remember that. And Facebook had like walls, you can post on somebody's wall. After 4 years of friendship, she randomly decided to address me as Issa Rae, with no warning whatsoever. After my dear Aunt Ray passed in January of 2008, I had changed my Facebook name from Jo Issa Jope to include my middle name, Ray, in her honor. Keisha had no idea she had given me both a new way to honor the memory of my aunt and an alter ego for my creative endeavors, though I didn't realize it until I was brainstorming names for my blog and the name Issa Rae flashed before me. Initially, I wanted a clever name, like Jody, a rap alias I used to my younger brother, or Flojo, Flojo, the filmmaker. But I also needed a name that could house all of my creative work, films included. Issa Rae as an alias was just the thing, as it was way cooler than joeissarayjoe.com, and would protect me in case I ever needed to get a real job. All the trash I talked online would be traced back to Issa Rae, and the HR departments would be none the wiser. Plus, the name Issa, though still easy to mispronounce, was way more visually digestible than Joe Issa. All this to say, in this book, you'll see my government name referenced a lot. I only started referring to myself as Issa Rae in 2008, and so all stories prior to that will reference my birth name. Deal with it. Here's something else you have to deal with. My family moved around a lot and I switched schools every 2 years until high school. So don't even bother trying to keep up. I don't blame you for the confusion. Just know that each school switch represented a new opportunity for me to try again, to be less awkward, to be a little cooler, to be a bit smarter and wiser. To be a little bit smarter and wiser. Try being the operative word. As for the stories, I'm coming clean with all the awkward, the embarrassing, the disappointing, the frustrating moments that have made me me. Many of which have turned out to be teaching moments, which is why I occasionally throw an ABG guide for awkward situations in which you might find yourself, such as public grazing, an aid to eating in front of people, or when co-workers attack. Whether you're an awkward black girl or a confident white guy, my hope is that you'll learn from my mistakes and, at the very least, laugh at my misgivings. Awkwardly yours, Issa Rae. Okay, so that is the introduction. I'm just going to take a quick break, and I will get back with you guys for the next part, which is chapter 1. I feel like this is going to be a really fun book. I feel like I'm going to be laughing the entire time, so I apologize in advance because I feel like it's going to be one of those books. So I'm excited, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.